Good morning, sir. I'm Y Nikita from EC Department B section. My roll number is 21951A04C2. My concept video topic is classification of petroleum. Introduction. Liquid fuels are the important commercial and domestic fuels used these days. Most of these fuels are obtained from naturally occurring petroleum or crude oil. Petroleum or crude oil is a dark greenish brown viscous oil found deep in the earth's crust. Crude oil is a source of many liquid fuels that are in current use. The composition of crude petroleum is approximately C is equal to 80 to 85%, H is equal to 10 to 14%, S is equal to 0.1 to 3.5%, HN is equal to 0.1 to 0.5%. Analyzing petroleum samples collected from around the world would show that their elemental compositions vary over a only narrow range 80 to 87% carbon, 11 to 15% hydrogen, and the balance being oxygen, nitrogen, and sulfur. Oxygen and nitrogen seldom exceed 1.5% each, but sulfur can amount to as much as 6% in the extreme cases. Petroleum contains four classes of compounds: alkanes, cycloalkanes, aromatics, and heteroaromatic compounds with one or more atom of nitrogen length. In petroleum chemistry and technology, alkanes are called paraffins, cycloalkanes, naphthalene, and the um, heteroatomic compounds are lumped together as NSSOs. Cycloalkanes, aromatics, and NSOs can all have one or more alkyl side chains. Refining of petroleum. Crude oil obtained from the mine is not fit to be marketed. It contains a lot of soluble and insoluble impurities which must be removed. Previously, the purification of crude oil is done by simple fractional distillation. Further treatment of the products is done by refining. Refining can be defined as a process by which petroleum is made free of impurities, division of petroleum into different fractions having different boiling points, and their further treatment to impart to the specific properties. Refining of petroleum is done in different stages. 1. Removal of solid impurities. The crude oil is a mixture of solid, liquid, and gaseous substances. This is allowed to stand undisturbed for some time when the heavy solid particles settle down and gases evaporate. The supernatant liquid in this is then centrifuged, wherein the solid jet removed. 2. Removal of water. Cottrell's process. The crude oil obtained from the earth's crust is in the form of stable emulsion of oil and brine. This mixture, when passed between two highly charged electrodes, will destroy the emulsion films and the colloidal water droplets, coalesce in the bigger drops, and get separated out from the oil. Removal of harmful impurities. Removal of harmful impurities. In order to remove sulfur compounds in the crude oil, it is treated with copper oxide. The sulfur compounds get converted into insoluble copper sulfate, which can be removed by filtration. Substances like NaCl and MgCl2 at present will corrode the refining equipment and result in the scale formation. These can be removed by techniques like electrical desalting and dehydration. Fractional distillation. Heating of crude oil around 4000 C in an iron retort produces hot vapor which is allowed to pass through fractionating column. It is a tall cylindrical tower containing a number of horizontal stainless trays at short distances and is provided with small chimney covered with loose cap. As the vapors go up, they get cooled gradually and the fractional condensation takes place. Higher boiling fraction condenses first, later the boiling fractions. LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. The gas is obtained from natural gas or as a byproduct in the refineries during cracking of heavy petroleum products. Nowadays, LPG has been commonly fuel for domestic work and also in the most of the industries. The main components of LPG are N-butane, isobutane, butylenes, and propane. The hydrocarbons are in the gaseous state at room temperature and 1 atmospheric pressure but can be liquefied under high pressure. The hydrocarbons are in gaseous state at room temperature and 1 atmospheric pressure, but can be liquefied under high pressure. LPG is kept at metallic cylinder attached with the burner through pipe. It has two stoppers, one at the cylinder and the other at the burner. LPG has a special odor due to presence of organic sulfides, which are added specially for safety measures. Characteristics of LPG. It has a high calorific value. It gives less CO and least unburnt hydrocarbons, so it causes least pollution. It gives moderate heat, which is very good for cooking. Its storage is simple, it is colorless, it has tendency to mix with air easily. It burns, gives it its burning gives no toxic gases through its highly toxic. It neither gives smoke nor ash content. It is cheap than gasoline and also a fuel in auto vehicles also. It is dangerous when leakage is there. Applications. In food industry, LPG is widely used in the food industry like for hotels, restaurants, bakeries, canteens, etc. Low sulfur content and controllable temperature makes LPG most preferred fuel in the industry. In glass and ceramic, the use of a clean fuel like LPG enhances the product of quality and thereby reducing the technical problems and related to the manufacturing activities of the glass and ceramic products. LPG is used in the metal industry, aerosol industry, textile industry, and it also can be used in the steam rising. Removal of solid impurities. The crude oil is a mixture of solid, liquid, and gaseous substances. This is allowed to stand undisturbed for some time. When the heavy solid particles get down and gases evaporate, the supernatural liquid is then centrifuged, wherein the solid gets removed. The removal of water. Cortell's process. The crude oil obtained from the Earth's crust is in the form of a stable emulsion of oil and brine. This mixture, when passed between two highly charged electrodes, will destroy the emulsion films and the colloidal water droplets coalesce into bigger drops and got separated out from the oil. Removal of harmful impurities. In order to remove sulfur compounds in the crude oil, it is treated with copper oxide. The sulfur compounds get converted into soluble copper sulfide, which can be removed by filtration. Substances like NaCl and MgCl2, it present will corrode the refining equipment and result in the scale formation. These can be removed by techniques like electrical desalting and dehydration. Fractional distillation. Heating of crude oil around 4000 C in an iron retort produces hot vapor, which is allowed to pass through the fractionating column. It is a tall cylindrical tower which contains a number of horizontal stainless trays at short distances and is provided with a small chimney covered with a loose cap. As the vapors go up and they get cooled gradually and fractional condensation takes place, higher boiling fraction condenses first later than the first lower boiling fractions. LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. The gas is obtained from the natural gas or as a byproduct in the refineries during the cracking of heavy petroleum products. Nowadays, LPG has been a common fuel for domestic work and also in most of the industries. The main components of LPG are N-butane, isobutane, butylenes, and propane. The hydrocarbons are in gaseous state at room temperature and the 1 atmospheric pressure, but can be liquefied under high pressure. LPG is kept in a metallic cylinder attached with the burner through pipe. It has two stoppers, one at the cylinder and the other at the burner. LPG has a special odor due to the presence of organic sulfides, which are added specially for the safety measures. Characteristics of LPG. It has a high calorific value, gives less CO and least unburnt hydrogens, and also causes the least pollution. It gives moderate heat, which is very good for cooking, and the storage is simple, it is colorless, and it has a tendency to mix in air easily. Burning gives no toxic gases, and it neither gives a smoke or ash content. It is cheaper than gasoline and used as a fuel in auto vehicles. It is dangerous when leakage is there. Applications. In food industry, LPG is widely used in the food industry like hotels, restaurants, bakeries, canteens, etc. Low sulfur content and controllable temperature makes LPG the most preferred fuel in the food industry. In glass and ceramic, the usage of a clean fuel like LPG enhances the product quality, thereby reducing technical problems related to the manufacturing activity of the glass and ceramic products. LPG is used in the metal industry, aerosol industry, textile industry, and it can also be used in the steam rising. In building industry, LPG can be being a premium gaseous fuel makes it ideal for the usage of the cement manufacturing processes. In automotive industry, the main advantage of using automotive LPG is it's free of lead, very low in sulfur and other metals, aromats and other contaminants. In farming industry, LPG in the farming industry can be used for the following: drying of crops, cereal drying, curing of tobacco and rubber, soil conditioning, horticulture. Conclusion. Petroleum grows the multiple operations intended into the separate into the fractions and and enhance the yields of the more valuable fractions and relative to those for which is less demand. Collectively, these operations comprise the technology of oil refining. The objective for refining is to convert petroleum into useful, marketable products through processes that are both economically, feasibly, and environmentally accessible. The primary products of refining are liquid fuels, mainly used in the transportation sector, and to a lesser extent for space heat, process heat, or raising system for the electricity generation. Secondary products include feedstocks for the chemical and polymers industries and carbon metals. The refining situation faces a third constraint in that the quality of the crude oil available to the refineries is slowly but steadily decreasing. Thank you, sir, for giving me this wonderful opportunity.